you're in the wrong job. Here, call me tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'd like to hear more from you.
Are you ready for your big break? The East African, understanding the region.
You're watching Morning at NTV.
Fast to your dreams, because when dreams die, life is only but a broken bird that cannot fly. Morning at NTV will make sure that we get you started on those little dreams, because every dream actually starts with a little step. My name is Brian Mlondo. Welcome to the show. Let's get started with the question of the day. Well, we've been talking about this the whole week, and surely this is the easiest answer. Head over to our Facebook page, Morning at NTV. You can also use our SMS platform, which is 6565, and of course, tweet us at Morning at NTV, and you'll walk away with this beautiful mug, courtesy of Morning at NTV. Great stuff happening here. First, our website is up. ntv.co.uk. It's live. Go to watch live, and you can stream this show on your laptop if you're in office. But the most exciting thing right now, we are turning 8 years at NTV, and to celebrate this with you, we are launching NTV Mobi, our latest app, mobile app. You can download it on your smartphone, Android especially. At the moment, we're dealing with Android first. I know many people are saying, but for us, we have iPhones. We are working it out. Very soon, we shall also unleash for you. But Android smartphone, you can download that app. Actually, as long as your phone goes on internet, you can download the app. We'll be putting the link also on our Facebook page, and you can go and enjoy TV wherever you are. That is going to be your sitting room, your stadium, your cafe, wherever you can catch NTV. The app is NTV Mobi. M-O-B-I. And of course, we're giving out 100 bikes in 100 days and 8 gift hampers every day. The show starts this evening, 6 p.m. Every 15 minutes, there'll be a code flashing on your screen. Make sure you check out that code and send it to 6666. That quadro 6, okay? And the winner will be declared at 6 p.m. Coming up on Morning at NTV, the stories that are shaping headlines.
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji, and Brian Molondo.
Of course, a very warm welcome to Morning at NTV. If you're just joining us, welcome to the show. Now, on to our top story this morning. Moyo District, which lies on the Uganda-South Sudan border, remains volatile after residents protested continued harassment by the South Sudanese neighbors. In a statement read by the State Minister for Internal Affairs, James Baba, he said that the standoff between the Ugandan and South Sudanese communities is based on a long-standing dispute over the common border. Baba says that the situation has been made worse. Early this month, district and population census were abducted and tortured inside South Sudan. In 2010, the Ugandan and South Sudanese presidents directed that the border dispute be amicably resolved. And in 2013, a border demarcation committee was appointed, headed by officials responsible for lands from both countries to sensitize the communities, do mapping and survey on the common border. James Baba says whereas the Ugandan team is ready, South Sudan was yet to name their team. And Baba appealed to the communities in Moyo and Kajokeji County in South Sudan to remain calm and coexist as the leadership of the two countries find a lasting solution to the border dispute.
Trucks packed with household items heading to the Uganda-South Sudan border. These are South Sudanese nationals fleeing from the ongoing wave of conflict between Ugandans and South Sudanese in Moyo district. These houses were among about 20 others that were torched on Monday in Besia village, Moyo town, in retaliatory attacks. Some of the residents from both sides shared their frustration over the incident.
As leaders of the district, we wish to be in peace, but also the government should hear our cry.
I don't know what the government will say about the school fee we have disbursed, because this is really a total loss.
For more than 20 years, the South Sudanese community, as well as the local community here, had lived in this place peacefully. Unfortunately, that bliss ended up in smoke yesterday. And for the South Sudanese, the only choice they feel they have now is to leave this place.
We are warned that these business people, they don't want us here. And we are the people on target now. What do I do? At least I go away.
A team of security officials from the two countries met on Tuesday and resolved to institute joint patrols along the common border as part of measures to restore calm.
People should refrain from violence and wait for the resolution of the Border Security Committee.
Although Brigadier Kayanja said the army will provide intelligence to the operations, he ruled out the deployment of soldiers to contain the situation.
All this is about, politics. It's about leadership issues.
2 weeks ago, South Sudanese police abducted senior Moyo district officials who had gone to secure the release of census enumerators held earlier in the disputed territory. On Monday, Moyo residents protested this mistreatment. The angry people ended up touching grass-thatched huts belonging to South Sudanese nationals. That night, attackers believed to be from South Sudan hit back by reportedly raping women and burning houses inside Uganda. But the police director of operations, Andrew Felix Kawesi, was not impressed with what happened.
Whether they were doing a right thing or not, the security forces in Uganda had obligation to protect them from being abducted by the Sudanese security forces. So the forces here in this region abdicated their responsibility, and that was a weakness.
He also said 15 people have been arrested over the violence. Moses Sakena, NTV.
Now, the United Nations General Assembly has opened its 69th session, chaired by the new president, Uganda's Foreign Affairs Minister, Sam Kutesa. In his opening remarks, Kutesa opened general debate on the theme, delivering on implementing a transformative post-2015 development agenda. Next week, scores of heads of state will take to the same podium in the annual general debate, which will run from Wednesday, 24th of September to 1st October, to deliberate on the world's most pressing issues. Kutesa was elected on 11th June by acclamation as president of the 69th session of the 193-member state UN.
I'm pleased to address this August General Assembly for the first time as President of the 69th session.
Uganda's Foreign Affairs Minister, Sam Kutesa, began work as President of the 69th UN General Assembly with a call to member countries to use the forum to harness opportunities in promoting harmony worldwide.
The General Assembly remains the preeminent forum for global debate and cooperation among member states. Let us use this unique environment as intended to harness opportunities and to find solutions to the challenges confronting humanity.
Next week, scores of heads of state and government will take to the same podium in the annual general debate, which is to run from Wednesday, 24th September to 1st October to deliberate the world's most pressing issues. In his tenure, Kutesa will be tasked with preparing celebrations as the UN marks 70 years of their existence next year. He will also oversee the transition to the Sustainable Development Goals from the Millennium Development Goals that expire in 2015.
It is evident that the 69th session will be very busy. In addition to dealing with the normal work of the main committees, we'll be preoccupied with negotiations on the post-2015 development agenda.
Kutesa was elected on 11th June by acclamation as president of the 69th session of the 193-member state body. Shiland Huchire, NTV.
Well, huge congratulations out there to Honorable Sam Kutesa. And of course for Uganda, finally, a platform where we can influence something in the world, and we'll be following his story very, very closely. Now, the police and education authorities in Busia have closed Mehan Islamic Primary School due to poor sanitary conditions. Although the director of the school feels that the action was malicious, the authorities say it's their duty to ensure that students study in safe environments.
These are the stringent measures which have to be adhered to at the Uganda-Kenya border entry points. Vehicles and luggage are thoroughly checked. Sniffer dogs have also been deployed to monitor the porous border entry points.
All buses, we have to check them. You can see we are using our dog, which can detect an explosive.
Police officers apprehended a man found in possession of ammunition.
He was moving, heading to Kenya. But because of our vigilance checking, we managed to recover an ammunition that was in his wallet.
So far, scores of Al-Shabaab suspects have been arrested after security swoop in the city. The biggest challenge is on how to monitor over 200 porous entry border points.
We are putting our officers to check on the borders. We know it is porous, everywhere is open, but we cannot just leave it to God.
However, there are still loopholes which could be exploited by insurgents.
Now, the United Nations Children's Fund and the Office of the Prime Minister's Platform for Conflict Prevention and Peace Building will host a one-day event which is aimed at fostering children and youth rights. Under the mantra, the right to peace, this function will be held at Zambia Sharing Youth Center. The event will also give a platform to youth to formulate a policy on the prevention of conflict. According to a study carried out in August 2014, about 45% of youth said they do not enjoy the right to peace.
Donors say the lessons on governance of the multi-billion shilling Peace Recovery and Development Program, PRDP, which they have funded to the tune of 123.5 billion shillings, must be critically reviewed ahead of any future disbursements.
About how it's different in Kedi or Karamoja or Acholi and so on. Because that information that they have there gives you a very solid baseline for understanding the context you're in and the programs that you want to develop.
The World Bank and the British donor arm DFID have been the lead funders of the multi-billion kitty that sought to expand on skills and enterprise growth among the population in the north and eastern parts of the country.
Skills, hands. What are the skills? We have lost opportunities. The roads that we were talking about, tarmacs and and so on. What does that really translate to us as women?
The pastoral land is going to Tororo Cement, to Dao, taking Mabo, to I think Mr. Magal, going for gold. So where are the people?
These concerns have emerged during a consultative review engagement convened by International Art that brought together donors, lawmakers and civil society actors here in Kampala.
But what is very important, especially as we think about the next phase of the Peace Recovery and Development Plan, it's very important for us, for the development partners, for government, to focus on the physical and psychological wounds that were inflicted on the people in the 20 years of war.
Corruption scandals have been at the center of the PRDP and NUSAF initiatives, which donors have anchored their counter-development support to the populations in the once war-torn regions. Reina Ojon, NTV Business.
Now, of course, you can follow these stories on our YouTube channel, which is NTV Uganda, and get the latest. And also download the new app for your phone, NTV Mobi. And I will be putting on the links on our Facebook page and Twitter very soon. But of course, if you have a smartphone, just go to your Play Store and type NTV Mobi and install that app on your device. You'll just be asked to register your name and your phone number, and of course, you get started. This could be your next television. Wherever you are, you can catch us live. We are celebrating 8 years here at NTV, and as we do that, also giving away 100 motorcycles in 100 days, and also 8 gift hampers every day. Every 15 minutes, there'll be a code on your screen. We'll be generating that. And of course, this evening, we start the promotion. And the person who watches literally like the NTV, if there's a word like watcher of the day at 6 p.m., will be announced. And keep sending to 666. That is Quadro 6. And good luck to all of you. Now, a brokerage firm, the African Alliance, has come under the spotlight after it emerged that it had a vested interest in the National Social Security Fund to purchase shares in Umeme, which was its client. Lawmakers who are probing corruption allegations and the abuse of office at NSSF said this was a conflict of interest. A team from the brokerage firm was appearing before the probe committee to explain their role in the NSSF multi-billion shilling deal to purchase shares in the electricity distributor. Jingo Francis is following the probe.
A brokerage firm, the African Alliance, has come under the microscope for acting as clients for both NSSF and Umeme, which resulted in the purchase of shares in the electricity firm using workers' savings.
Secret, like any other organization, they have secret. So they depend on you. Now there comes a time when they have to meet Umeme. How do you, please, unless I'm thinking in a peasant way.
However, the chief executive officer of the firm says it was within their legal mandate as long as the principle of confidentiality was adhered to for both their clients.
We would not divulge this to anybody. We are professional, and we adhere to client confidentiality. This is the way it is the world over.
I cannot be a seller of my items and I use the same person selling and buying using the same broker. I can't. There must be a conflict of interest.
The key issue about the capital markets is disclosure. Are you aware of what is in the prospectus?
There is no company, Mr. Chairman, which can give such a conditions and it will allow you to work on the other side.
However, the former corporation secretary of the pension body, David Nambale, appeared before the committee last week and said that he warned that there would be a conflict of interest if this brokerage firm sealed this deal. However, his advice was ignored.
African Alliance, a firm known as African Alliance, was also had a contract with NSSF.
This point was pointed out in the legal due diligence, which you have.
Yes, sir. As to whether that advice is followed is up to the person who has been advised. Because
the scenario of a broker being a sponsoring broker and also representing clients will always be there.
Kenneth Kitariho told the probe committee that the Umeme initial purchase offer was highly subscribed with over 37%. He also revealed that NSSF wanted to buy shares worth 51 billion shillings, but was only offered 25 billion shillings worth of shares. Kitariho said NSSF was not given any bonus shares as alleged by the then Managing Director Richard Byarugaba and the Acting Managing Director Geraldine Sali.
This aspect only was applicable to retail, to the individuals. It was not applicable to the institutions.
Say it again.
Noted.
Philip noted.
The bonus share was only given to
retail.
individuals, retail. Yes.
No institution.
None whatsoever.
The pensions fund has been blighted with graft, with nearly all managing directors being questioned over allegations of graft. Jingo Francis, NTV Parliament.
Watching Morning at NTV. My name is Brian Malonda, and of course, at the rooftop of the Kampala Serena Hotel are the two gentlemen, Simon Kasiate and Joel Sejonyi. Mabel is missing in action because she's obviously up to some good things. But of course, Simon, I don't know if you've experienced already NTV Mobi as we turn 8 years of quality broadcasting and entertainment. Good morning, by the way.
So, Brian Mulondo, you really want to put my job online by saying I have not experienced NTV Mobi, or when I did, the sound was traveling faster than the light? What exactly do you want me to say? Or do you want me to tell a proper lie that I've experienced that it's a great thing? Well, I can only tell you one thing. I'm not just trying to be cheeky on this Thursday morning. Yes, I've experienced NTV Mobi, and it's such a tremendous application. You can watch these programmings that we are always so proud of, but are too glued to our seats in the living rooms that we are unable to take an inch away or even blink for the fear of missing them. So now you can move out your house, you can go out into the compound, you could even be in the market. Should 9 o'clock arrive and you're still in the traffic jam, like most of us always are, you just switch on your NTV Mobi. I do not know what the police will say when they find you watching TV. Is that now fornicating while driving, or is it watching TV while driving as another crime? Your guess could be as good as mine. But wonderfully, it's a sunny, bright Thursday morning, the 18th day of September 2014, and we're just ready to share with you what's on the headlines of the two interesting newspapers that we have with us here, a newspaper and a magazine. The red paper, I don't quite see it, but yes, I'm sure we'll get it along the way. We're waking up to an interesting Thursday morning when there's two pictures. One with not so good news on their side, the other with tremendously very good news on their side. Two soldiers from the same army. We'll be telling you more. Good morning, Joel.
Good morning.
I have seen you reading Andrew Mwenda's last word in today's edition of The Independent, like you have an examination where first question is, who is Andrew Mwenda? 2, who pays Andrew Mwenda? And 3, what has he written today?
An interesting article here. I've read it to the end as quickly as I possibly could. He seems to be making just a rebuttal. There's the one Himbara who wrote an article. He works for one of those media houses. It's titled here, Why American Media Should Listen to the Views of Rwandans About Freedom in Their Country. Of course, one would think Andrew Mwenda is trying to earn his bread, but he has said it again and again. He calls himself an advisor to President Kagame. I don't know whether that's formal or informally.
I have formally and informally been advising you, Joel. You have not even so much as bought me.
No, if you were to advise me in that...
Many times we always have tweet attacks coming in from left, right, and center, and I have passionately defended you. I have gone on to say, I know you even outside this very shop. But my daughter passes by you every other day, and you have not even so much as given her a lollipop. So what makes you think...
I gave her a hug the other day.
Please, now I think this is a beatable offense. You are not going to go around starting to hug little kids all in the name of knowing their daddy.
If you didn't get it from daddy, but well...
So what makes you think that... Because Mwenda advises Kagame, he's paid, and Kasiata advises Joel Senyonyi, and he's not paid.
No, the point I'm bringing out, of course he says it in such a way, it appears like he's on the payroll, which is not supposed to be a bad thing, yeah? So I would imagine he's really doing his job here, as opposed to being the journalist we know him to be. But it brings out critical points, you know, about, you know, power sharing in Rwanda, which many think is a facade and that kind of thing. I don't know. You need to ask many Rwandan. I've spoken to a few Rwandans who say, my friend, when we are down there, you know, of every 10 people you meet, 6 of them are spies, borders, and so people live in fear. I don't know, of course you'll meet others who say, look, we're excited about our country, it's getting better economically, etc.
Of every 10 people you meet in Uganda, 9 are thieves. So do we live? I mean,
that's why I'm looking at both sides.
It is either a pickpocket, a fat government thief, a fat dishonest corporator. At the end of the day, everyone is described differently. But one thing is for sure, at least in Rwanda, something seems to be going on. You will fall sick.
And there are things we need to pick a leaf from
You're always
roundabout.
here clamoring for the common man, this person who faceless and nameless to you. In Rwanda, they're all faceless and nameless, yes, majority of them, just like anywhere in
Pregnant
the world.
mothers access antenatal care.
Thank you very much.
90% of their population has insurance, medical insurance. So those are good things, yeah?
We
But
forgot to say medical care gratis. And for me, I can tell you, I would rather live in a country where I don't have the freedom to abuse the president and call him poppycock, or what do you normally call the things around here?
Poppycock, no, poppycock is a synonym for hogwash, for nonsense. Well, I usually use that when I'm referring to Tamare Mirundi, because sometimes, I think he speaks poppycock.
You wouldn't say the same about Yolani Makolo in Rwanda. That is the counterpart of Tamare Mirundi in Uganda.
Well,
you wouldn't show the middle finger to Dr. Frank Sebo, who heads the Uganda Investment Authority, to Claire Akaman's the counterpart in Rwanda.
Well, you can do it respectfully, and that's how we do it. So when I attack government, officials like Tamare Mirundi or Fono Pondo, because many times you hear them going through the media and talking absolute nonsense, with all due respect.
And when you have said that, life remains the same for you. You are still driving on the same bad road.
It should.
Your mother will possibly not get enough medical care and all that. Rather, I would rather live in a country where I'm unable to call Tamare Mirundi's words as poppycock, but I am able to walk into a health facility and I'm treated. I am able to know that, one, I am driving on roadworthy cars, or I'm driving a car-worthy road, or whatever it is, and things like that. Why? Because systems work. The fundamental freedoms may be curtailed in one way or another, but of course you know what kind of people we are, we especially Africans, and this is not to sound xenophobic or anything. But you give us freedom, for us to want absolute freedom. We believe that freedom does not have any limits. We should just go on and on.
It does have, and it should have responsibilities. I'll tell you the kind of country I'd like to live in. One where there's medical attention available, where education is good, etc., etc. If I think the presidential press secretary is going around abusing people, I should say, no, Tamare Mirundi, that is wrong, etc., etc.
I can see that clearly that country is not here. It is. Tumwine, General Tumwine, has been ordered to pay 1.6 billion Ugandan shillings, according to a headline story in the Daily Monitor. His crime, or why is he paying this 1.6 billion shillings? Well, the government valuer has said this good general has defaulted on rent and other amenities of the normal gallery premises to over 200 months.
That's about 17
You guys
years
here default 1 month, and the landlord goes and removes the iron sheet right on top of your bed. You come back home only to find a direct sight to the sky.
Yeah, you have an open, it's actually, your home becomes a multi-star home instead of a 5-star hotel.
Now, General Tumwine, who I asked about this question, which was an elephant in the room the day he appeared here to discuss matters of environment. And he looked me in the face and looked into the camera and he said, you will not pander to the nonsense being peddled around by charlatans and you in the media. So, is the government valuer also one of the charlatans or members of the media?
I'll tell you, General Tumwine is known to me. Some of his children are friends of mine. But that said, look at the way Kasete is looking at me. So I'm probably trying to put my interests on the table, yeah? But that said,
one of the children, his name is who? The children, his name is who?
The children.
And I'm deliberately using the pronoun he.
I said some of the children. He's got a number of children, about 5 or so, and some of them, not all of them, are friends to me. So that one would imagine I've got interests therein. But that said, of course the general does Adam Brett in one of the articles he wrote to the Daily Monitor and says, look, this place was just dumped there. Government didn't have, but I used my own money to refurbish it, put it together, etc., etc. So that should be taken into account.
So the time when Kororo airstrip was just there, a strip of land and no one was using it and government did not have money to refurbish it, Ene Kasiate or Senyonyi would have gone there, put up shop, organize it, refurbish it and all that. And
that's the point I was trying to bring out.
Eventually own it.
It doesn't make it right. The other day we were talking about these people that were being evicted from the railway reserve and so on.
Same story.
Same story. So with all due respect, I think, of course, they need to sit and agree. This is what the government valuer is saying. General Tumwine says, no, that's not the case. But ultimately, I don't think what he did was right.
Well, let's go down to Major Muramaji. You remember him? The ISO operative who was accused for attempting to murder his CDRs using a hyena's liver. Anyway, you can laugh so that you don't cry. Well, good enough. The court-martial has cleared him of all those charges against him, and he is pictured here on the front page hugging members of his family in triumph. I've met a couple of times. We
I like the way we are going.
Run together in the gym at Kabira. He's quite a fine guy. Now, when I read in the press that he was attempting, you know, a fine guy who's sophisticated, he wears wonderful sneakers, he has very wonderful jogging gear.
We apologize for the technical glitch we're having there with our sound, and we'll be returning to the gentleman very shortly. But as our technical team works around that, let me just take you through quickly the international news here. Now, of course, today is decision day for Scotland. Okay, September 18th is the day when they decide whether Scotland will stay with the UK. Now, of course, after about 300 years of the Union, and today whether the no campaign or the yes campaign will win the vote. And you can check out Sky News, about 1 hour and 30 minutes. That's when the polls start. And the main important question today is, should Scotland be an independent country? It's decision day, and you can follow that and more stories here on Sky News there. Now, BBC, you thought it was just happening in the US. Well, it looks like terrorists are going all over the whole world. Now it's in Australia, and police, about 800 armed police officers stormed the local communities to carry out some anti-terror raids that were triggered by a call from a senior Islamic State militant, and he was saying they're going to carry out demonstration killings. And Australia has launched those anti-terror raids over a plot to kill people. And about 15 people were arrested, and one person has been charged with conspiracy to prepare a terrorist attack. From Australia to the US, where their lawmakers have also backed a plan for the US to arm the Syrian rebels. And that is something that has been going on for, years. The decision is, should the US attack Syria, then Obama was accused of, being slow, and some people like Donald Trump saying that maybe he's a very weak president. Well, the US has given him the go-ahead to attack Syria. And just one more interesting thing here. Joan Rivers, you remember her? The very, very hilarious lady. Well, people, the source here says that Joan Rivers' doctor took selfie, began biopsy before her cardiac arrest. I think I'll do the same too. Who wouldn't want a selfie with Joan Rivers? And of course, unfortunately, she passed on at 81, one of the most talented comedians in history. Rest in peace, Joan Rivers there. Well, that's all we had for you for your international news. Let's head back to the gentleman at the rooftop of the Serena Hotel. Well, Simon, we seem, well, you're back now. Yes.
You see, Brian, I'm not a very happy person. You know, there are some things that should not be taking place in this day and age at such a place. Anyway, I will complain off the air. But I must tell you, we have two newspapers before us, The Independent and The Daily Monitor. It is the press review this morning. I don't know whether to start by apologizing, because I went on for 20 minutes with Joel talking, hoping that at least a bit of that was captured by all of you. If you missed it, get yourself a copy of The Daily Monitor and a copy of The Independent, and get to understand exactly what's it on the front page of these newspapers. Perhaps, Joel, you could tell me, what is in The Independent?
Where do I start from? I will not repeat what I said earlier. Perhaps I'll just look at there's a letter that somebody wrote, an inbox here. Somebody saying that Lord Mayor Lukwago should apologize. And of course, what they seem to say here is, look, if Lukwago wants to keep his job, he should apologize to President Yoweri Museveni, etc., etc. And I'm thinking, now apologize for what? I don't quite get it. Politics at play. That's a story I didn't look at. The others...
You looked at the last word from Mwenda.
The last word. I wish that bit was recorded so that it could be replayed. You know, I don't even remember what I said earlier on. The last one, Mwenda here, of course, writes, and it says, why American media should listen to the views of Rwandans about freedom in their country. Of course, a couple of things here he does list out. You know, he's talking about power sharing in Rwanda, and he feels Rwanda is a very tolerant country politically. The Western media seems to think otherwise, but all the details are here in The Independent. Get yourself a copy of it.
On the front page of the Daily Monitor, you've got Tumwine being ordered to pay some 1.6 billion Ugandan shillings as part of his arrears for the 200 months he was overdue at the normal gallery to government. And just the same page is holding some good news for another UPDF officer, Major Herbert Muramaji, who was acquitted by the court-martial. His charges, attempting to poison his seniors using a hyena's liver. That's on the front page of the Daily Monitor this morning.
Now, deep in here, we are told UPC is telling Parliament to hold the appointment of Kaihura, General Kaihura. Of course, they take query with the authority, the police authority that did give him a green light to take on another 3-year term. It's constituted by the Minister of Internal Affairs, the Chief Justice, the Minister of Justice, the Attorney General, Minister of State for Internal Affairs, and of course the Police Chief and his deputy. So they feel, no, there should have been other people comprising of this board.
Well, perhaps I do not know whether Parliament will listen to UPC, given that they have got a handful of MPs there. And what is 2, 3, 4, 5 MPs going to do to change the minds of 370 others of their colleagues? Well, The Independent is leading with a story about politics behind the Chabazinga. Well, we are told that there were cheers and tears as Busoga becomes Kingmaker's arena. In other words, politicians were in there jostling and tussling to ensure that their supposed candidate for the Chabazinga takes it all. And of course, now we all can guess which camp carried the day.
Well, some are happy, some are not, but Busoga's woes seem, not about to end. I hope they end pretty soon. Now, prepare to take over from us, Premier Mbabazi tells youth. I don't know, I've heard this from the time I was back in primary school. You know that we are the leaders of tomorrow. Before I became a youth, now I'm nearly past that age, but there you have it. And talking about Mbabazi, youth arrested over Museveni's 80th birthday. There are young people, you know the president celebrated his 70th birthday on 15 September. There are young people who feel, no, we need to add 10 years to that. Apparently that's what the president is, according to these young people. So they went around protesting. And interestingly, they are clad in T-shirts with who? Whose image? Prime Minister Mama Mbabazi.
So one would want to beg the question of whether is it a case of a sheep being clad in, where you're saying someone being clad in a sheep's ear so that the wolves can eat them.
I don't know, but this is interesting politics. As we head to 2016, a lot more drama that is going to be unfolding.
Well, we are waking up to an interesting story in the business section of the Independent magazine, where they're talking about products that are made in Uganda by China.
All right, quote of the day.
So tell me, what would you call an iron bar made by Tiang Tiang? And I have every respect for that company. It employs thousands of Ugandans. You should see them taking that great trek between Namaojolo and the plant along the Jinja-Kampala highway. Tremendous. And these guys are working there for their shifts and all that. Young people. Namaojolo is now a town that is bustling with activity because
we used to know it only for chicken and goja. Now it is a lot more.
The biggest business going on is rentals for the young people, boys and girls who are working at these factories that are coming up in the greater area of Mukono. But when you have a Tiang Tiang iron bar, isn't it clearly made in Uganda by China?
Well, I'm told there's a kid in school who was asked what's the opposite of genuine, and this kid said China. Look, for starters, I hope these Ugandans are being paid pretty well. You know, the other time we had issues with one of the Chinese companies. Their employees are complaining. But away from that, I'll tell you, China actually makes some good, authentic stuff. You know, it's just that when we go out there, I'm told there are about 3 categories. There's a genuine one, there's one that is in the middle there, then there's the very fake one. You buy a pair of socks, you put it on, and then your toes go through.
Depends on what nails you are carrying with. If you're having an eagle's nails.
Well, maybe that too. But I hope UNBS is doing a good job to ensure that whatever is being produced by this Tiangshe or whatever it is actually quality.
Well, members of parliament, well, for this time round, I think they have got a point with which I concur. They are tasking government to explain exactly the goings-on in South Sudan. Not long ago, we went in there, pacified that country. We hold them in our refugee camps here. We, for the most part, have everything going. But before we knew it, our businessmen started being beaten up and harassed and not paid.
Some killed.
Our border cyclists who had taken on the lucrative business there were kicked out. And now South Sudan is saying all foreign nationals get out of this country. And at the same time, we see skirmishes at the common border somewhere in Moyo. And members of parliament are asking themselves, what the hell is going on with this otherwise good neighbor? In fact, one member of parliament says government had better move quickly to declare South Sudan as a hostile neighbor.
I saw that and I said, all right, I hope we don't become like themselves. You know, it's important that we be able to, people very clearly see the difference between the wheat and the chaff, you know, so maybe we don't want to do exactly as they are doing, but it's very concerning. It's disconcerting that these guys wake up all of a sudden and they say, all right, you know, foreign nationals, we are going to expel you. It's like I said, it's reminiscent of the Idi Amin days here. Even though they have a point, they have a point. In this country, you find Chinese roasting maize with their investors. What nonsense is that?
We can only end it on such nonsensical point by saying, have a wonderful morning. We'll be back with a big story.
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji, and Brian Mulondo.
Babe, you know you are truly an angel.
Aww.
I love your walk, your smile, your laugh, everything. You know what else, babe?
What?
You smell. Oh no, I'm out of airtime. Shops are closed. I have to wait till tomorrow before I can get airtime. She would think I was saying she smells.
Get airtime instantly with your phone.
What?
Just use Airtel Money. Dial *185 hash, select buy airtime, and follow the steps.
What?
Sorry, babe. My line got cut. I was just saying you smell better than any flower in the world.
Top up with Airtel Money and get 100% bonus airtime instantly with every top-up made. Now that's 100% extra from Airtel. Dial *185 hash to top up now.
Airtel Money. Simple, secure, instant.
We transact every day, and for centuries, currencies have changed hands. Business is a must, and that is why Money Matters makes it a must to talk business.
It's the biggest market out in Uganda because of East African connections and business.
From farming to business trading, we give you all the angles.
When you're harvesting, that one is the most important part, which we have to be there.
We'll bring you all the details that doing business has to offer.
Thoughts of the business leaders in the market.
The airline industry doesn't operate like any other industry, where you go in and buy a shirt and this shirt is 20 shillings today, it will be 20 shillings tomorrow, 20 shillings.
The analysis of the costs and the income in the industries. From wherever we are, we talk business, and at Money Matters, where money indeed matters. Business is a must.
So, don't miss talking business with us every Thursday only on NTV.
What show just won Best Entertainment Program?
Log in for the glitz and glamour of Kampala's most flamboyant people and events.
I'm here today for Coco Fingers video shoot.
Big up NTV, thanks for the support. Log in, ndiwa nole ronzi zeko kakasa.
Your coffee and you're watching Login.
Don't touch that dial, you know what I'm saying. It's Login.
We could do this all night. We could do this all night.
Kampala has been voted in the past as one of the favorite cities for tourists, one of the most peaceful cities. That is something that is changing.
Kale Kaihura, the Inspector General of Police, and President Yoweri Museveni, their alliance, they can only crack down or stop individual strikes and individual demonstrations. But I don't think they can stop the growth of militancy.
No holds barred.
Besija and Lukwago have particular grievances against the government, some legitimate, some misguided. What should the police do? Of course, the police has to intervene, A, to protect the power of President Yoweri Museveni and the NRM from disruption by Besigye and Lukwago, but B, also, never forget this, to protect those ordinary people whose property gets destroyed.
I want to ask that many think that they've actually been frustrated.
Opposition parties in Africa do not tend to be constructed around policy differences. FDC lacks a glue to hold its coalition of different power-hungry individuals together.
Incisive.
You see, the NRM is more divided internally than the FDC. The advantage with the NRM is it has political power.
Analytical.
I think that one of the best organized political parties in Uganda is the PPP, the People's Progressive Party with Dan Sali. This idea that everybody is telling around the world that Africans are poor and they cannot contribute to their own political and social emancipation is crap. In fact, I think that the opposition parties in Uganda have to win an election in an unfair and unleveled ground.
Newsnight with Andrew Mwenda.
Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji, and Brian Mulondo.
A very good morning to you if you're just joining us this morning at NTV. Very wonderful experience in the morning. And of course, before we go on, I'd like to apologize to our viewers across the country and the continent for the technical glitch in sound that we had earlier. Our technical team has fixed it and we are good to go. Now, of course, I'm not going to stop talking about the new convenient NTV Mobi app. It's up and running. If you have a smartphone, Android phone, go to your Google Play Store and just download it and install it on your phone. There you can catch NTV wherever you can. Well, now we are not going to do things like go to the internet and watch past shows. No. It's the only up-to-date app where you'll see NTV live, whether in your sitting room, at the stadium, in a restaurant, in a salon, or in a matatu, wherever you are, you can catch us live. So go there, and of course, NTV celebrating 8 years with you, and we are rewarding you 100 motorcycles in 100 days. The promotion will start today at 6 p.m. and every 15 minutes we'll be flashing a code on the screen that you can SMS to 6666. That's quadruple 6. So watch out for that this evening at 6 p.m. Now, Joel, who is at the rooftop of the Kampala Serena Hotel this morning. Joel, the minister has already started getting comments here before the big story even starts on the relevance of arts courses and science courses. And by the way, good morning, Joel.
Good morning to you. Very much expected of those comments. When you're talking arts versus sciences in this country, debate has been raging on. That's what we'll be talking about this morning on the big story. Welcome to the big story. My name is Joel Senyonyi. Now, after the president of Uganda did make remarks to the effect that arts courses are actually useless, there's been a plethora of responses. Almost every morning in one of the dailies, you know, you read about people rebutting that, saying, wait a minute, are arts actually that useless? Many of us are artists, but we are not as irrelevant to this country. So I want to try and put this debate into perspective. What kind of message are we sending out to many young people out there that are doing arts courses? You know, those that are, for one reason or another, were not able to become scientists. Joining me this morning, the Honourable Minister for Information and National Guidance, Honourable Rose Namayanje. Good to have you here this morning.
It's a pleasure being here.
Looking very nicely clad in your yellow. I saw a bit of yellow on me and I said, okay, this morning we are matching, which is a good thing.
Almost there.
Honourable, tell me, you are a lawyer, a good lawyer at that. That makes you an artist. Are you irrelevant to this country?
I think the statement, I don't want to say was quoted out of context, but we want to look at it in a holistic way. And I want to thank you for bringing me here to share and highlight a few issues. The president did not say that all science subjects, all arts courses are useless.
Well, he said arts courses are useless.
No, he
now
said some. He actually gave examples. And he said that some courses may not necessarily be fully-fledged courses, but can be papers, can be course units in that sense. He gave the example of gender studies. Says it can be a different course, but gender studies becomes one of the courses and one of the course units. You've talked about being a lawyer. In the law school, we study almost everything.
It is still an arts course.
Yeah, but he didn't say that we are going to scrap off or that people should not take.
Let me read to you what His Excellency President here said. You ask these art students what they can solve, and they tell you, for us, we only think about what. And he goes ahead to say, it's unfortunate that many universities continue teaching these very useless courses at degree level, rendering their graduates jobless after graduation. I want to say I hear the president in one angle, you know, because we need many scientists in this country. Maybe we have too many artists. That doesn't make them useless. We probably need a little bit more scientists in this country. But you see, the challenge is we are not putting our money where our mouths are. We keep talking about promoting sciences, but Honourable, you know that many schools in this country do not have laboratories, and these sciences have been made compulsory. We know that, for example, we do not value our scientists in this country. We train doctors very well, but they are running to Rwanda, to Kenya, to South Africa because they are paid better. And so one would think, yes, we talk about sciences being good, we should encourage students to do sciences. But what for thereafter if we cannot contain them, if we cannot value the time they have spent doing these courses?
I think let's look at where we started from. And this thing, the president coming out now, or all of us coming out to say something on this, it's not out of the blue. You remember these are reports, this is a report. In 1952, we have been running our education system on commissions. There was the Bunsen Commission that actually came up and said they were training cadres, lower level cadres for the colonial system to run. Then 62, when we got independence, there was the Castle Commission and the rationale to come up with a system that can train high level managers to take over from the colonial service. And then when NRM came to power in 1986, the next year in 1987, the president appointed or formed the Kajubi Commission, the Education Policy Review Commission, that came up with a report in 1989. And government in 1992 came up with a white paper. Among the recommendations was, one, universal primary education. Though one time I heard when it was introduced that Dr. Besigye said, you know, they took my appealing to the gullible population, that was my idea, but this was...
I don't think it would be a bad thing if you picked a good idea from the opposition and implement it well, anyway.
It wouldn't also be bad, but we must put the facts clear. This was a recommendation. Actually, according to the Kajubi Commission, he said we should have universal primary education not later than 2000. And I'm glad it was implemented in 1997. Then he also recommended revamping the education system. And you have said that we don't put mouth where,
our money
resources where our mouths
are. We keep talking sciences,
that is wrong.
But where is the real practicality?
Many of my age and slightly, and above, we know that it was always in senior 2 that most people stopped taking sciences.
Now they're compulsory throughout ordinary
And
level.
that was deliberate to make it compulsory. And at the time when you were there, you would even see I did chemistry at O level up to senior 4. But I'll tell you that you would see a Bunsen burner in some of those third world schools where we were. You would see a Bunsen burner in mock examinations for senior 4.
To date, some
So
see them not
today-
just in mock, but
No,
in the very
I'm
final
coming.
exams.
I'm saying that what government has done ever since there was the introduction of compulsory sciences at O level, we have put science laboratories in more than 65% of government-aided schools. These are facts, and there is no school that is being constructed now without a component of a laboratory. More than 65% of the schools, government-aided, secondary, have laboratories. And our goal is to ensure that all government-aided secondary schools, and of course encouraging private schools to have the same. And when you talk about sciences, look at ICT. We have put ICT laboratories in 961 government-aided schools. We have provided 5,400 science kits to 1,342 government-aided schools and some private schools that are actually partnering with government on USE. And you said we don't value sciences.
Well, at least we don't seem to value them.
30% increase in salary for teachers who teach sciences.
Something
is
that's
meant,
too little or too late, Honorable.
No, but there was nothing. They were getting the same as the other teachers who are teaching arts. But even when, and remember we have had the policy of increasing their salary. Even this year we have put in 450 billion shillings to increase salaries of teachers and other public servants. But we are saying that to encourage students, to motivate them to begin liking sciences and taking them really up to the higher level, can we bring 30% increase over and above the other increase? So, and then the other issue, just recently, last week, we were, the minister, the permanent secretary of Ministry of Education, and indeed the Ministry of Education, was signing a memorandum of understanding between government and industrialists, with the Uganda Manufacturers Association, Private Sector Foundation, and the rationale is to ensure that the education, the graduates, the skills that we provide from our universities are in tandem with the job markets.
Honorable,
because there's
talk
been
about
a
the job-
mismatch
without a doubt.
between what we produce and what comes out. Believe me, I did history also up to senior 2, and you studied about the Ngoni, geography, St. Lawrence Seaway,
the prairies of
the
Canada
prairies of
and the like, we
Canada.
don't get to use them.
And
Honorable, I
then
hear
when
you,
do you use them?
but let me take it up from the point of jobs, availability
Yes.
of jobs. On an annual basis, our institutions of learning churn out about 400,000 people out to the job market. You know, but the jobs that are available are about 113,000. In fact, some organizations that have done a bit of statistics here and there, say youth unemployment in this country is up to the level of about 83%. So I appreciate the fact that we are investing in quite a bit to ensure that we give sciences a hand up, if you like, investing in the teachers, you talk about laboratories, etc., etc. But where are the jobs for these people? Because it is good a thing that we are investing in them, making sure that they actually study and excel. But you see, we are not availing jobs for them. That is why they are running away to our neighboring countries.
What
so
we are doing right now,
it makes no sense at the end of the day.
what the president is actually, because I've talked about sciences being compulsory, introducing, for instance, entrepreneurship as part of second A-level subjects.
Well, some students do entrepreneurship degrees at the university, but thereafter they go and look for jobs, and you might not blame them anyway.
But when we bring this higher education science and technology project, it is going to cost us 288 billion to ensure that we connect the students from the universities to the industries, to the manufacturers. There should be that connection from their research, and then they are placed in those industries, and then we get feedback from the industries on what we must improve on. So the level where we are is one. When you see government saying we are investing, we are prioritizing in infrastructure, in energy, to make business, running business, establishing business, manufacturing easy. You establish, you have infrastructure in the form of energy, in the form of roads, to make work easy for the industries to come up with the industries, factories, investors to come in and create jobs. Because public service, in government, we create not more than 300,000 jobs. And people are there up to 60-something. The retirement age is also still high.
Others are, of course, having their contracts renewed after the retirement age is
so
passed.
What we are doing right now is actually sensitization. Telling our population, telling our children that please, can we take, let me give you an example. We are saying the oil industry, the oil and gas industry is coming. It is going to produce 100, yes, but it has not reached the peak. We have been at the level of exploration. We're at the level of now starting a refinery, but at production and development, we shall need 150,000 jobs. But the oil industries, and indeed what government has noticed, first of all, I'm glad that universities are beginning to pick up this. Even at law schools, some law schools have started taking oil and gas as one of the course units. And government established the Chigumba Petroleum Institute just to match. But out of the 150,000 jobs that will be available, 15% of those jobs will be for engineers and managers. 60% of those jobs will be for technicians. It is only 25% that will be for other courses. So that means we must prepare for that. The technical people, Talo Oil and other, Sinok and other companies are actually telling us that every year, first of all, with our records, every year we produce 600 engineers. At peak performance in the oil sector, we shall need 1,400
so without a doubt, we need to produce a lot more.
We need to produce a lot more. And the president is coming out to encourage, to encourage our children, to encourage people studying at universities. You know, it is also cheap for universities to start arts subjects, arts courses, because you don't need a laboratory, you don't need demonstration farms, you don't need anything technical, but you just need the books, the lecturers and that kind of stuff. So we are encouraging universities to put more investment, private universities, to put more investment in science courses.
Honorable, I hear you, but talking about encouragement, there are young people who are in high school, some at universities, they are doing arts already and they feel marginalized, they feel they've been thrown to the periphery. If we were to write two lists, one of scientists, one of artists in this country, and you juxtapose the two lists, you realize that actually a good number of artists have made it in this country. And so how are we encouraging those that are there already? For goodness sake, not everybody has got capacity to do sciences as we know them quintessentially. Medicine, I don't know, engineering, etc., etc. Some people are cut out to do things differently. You have children, Honorable, and I'm sure among your children you realize this one has potential for this one has potential for the other. What are we doing about those? Because now they feel totally irrelevant in this country,
and they are not. The president was clear. Actually, when he gave, for instance, an example that some can be course units, that meant he's not saying that we scrap off arts. There are some arts courses that are really very relevant and where jobs are, when we were at the university, we used to hear of MDD and they used to say Musiru Dala Dala or most dense department. Today an MDD student actually gets a job before a lawyer does.
And hopefully they make quite a bit of money.
The film industry, I'm glad they're actually revamping even that and they make quite a lot of money.
Some of them.
So we are not saying arts courses, all of them are useless. But we must also be blunt and tell the country that we need to invest, both the students, the parents at home, to encourage our children to begin looking at sciences, because that's where we are. Most of that's where the world is going. You look at countries like Singapore have developed just because of the innovation in science. We have very good, you look at Chila EV, and I want to totally disagree with you when you say that we don't put our resources where the mouth is.
At least we don't see quite a bit of that.
Look at these people of Chila EV.
Oh, the ones that assembled that car.
Yes, but
here
that
they
is
say
a
they
starting
manufactured
point.
it, without a doubt.
Whatever
And I think
they
they are
have
brilliant.
done, it is a step forward. We can start from there. And they are being supported by government.
Talking about investing, where we need to invest, Honorable, technical institutions have been run down, and we don't see government doing quite a bit. You know, I talked to some of these tailors in Chiembe, for example. Those fellows make quite a bit of money. You know, you look at people who are doing carpentry, plumbers in this country. You know, they make quite a bit of money. But you see, we do not seem to be encouraging that. You talk about arts courses. We have so many pseudo courses at the universities. Government institutions that the president is talking about, you find somebody doing what? A degree in underwater bubble blowing. We are doing very little, if anything, about that. We are not encouraging these technical subjects. What is happening? By the way, the structures of these technical institutions are tenement structures. They are crumbling. You find the equipment that they need to have is not in place. So how are we going to encourage sciences
we
like
have
this?
revamped, by the way, in as far as infrastructure is concerned, we have made substantial progress.
Tell me about that.
I'll give you an example. Up to 2013, we now have, just new classrooms alone, more than 1,340 new classrooms. And we're not looking at only primary level. At secondary level, we are revamping all the major schools that we had, not even major alone. I'll give you an example. There's a World Bank project where we are putting not less than 2 billion in one school. Because I'll give you an example. In my area in Nakaseke, Kaloke Christian High School, we have put there 2.8 billion shillings. And there are 50 of those schools. We are calling them centers of excellence, where we ensure there are sufficient laboratory equipment, there are sufficient textbooks, there's everything that is needed. And this is in addition to other schools where we are putting support. And even technical schools that you're talking about. In 2012, we launched the Skilling Uganda project. And
another of those many youth projects around.
Not youth project.
Well, very related.
It's related, yes. But it's about skills. Connecting the skills we have with available jobs. You gave a very good example. I mean, even in carpentry or civil engineering or whatever, you would have somebody with very good theory, has even a degree in that, but cannot compete with somebody doing that work in Katwe. So Skilling Uganda is a project that we have initiated, and it is in technical education. And by the way, under that project also, what we are encouraging our students is that it may not necessarily mean that from A level I have to go to university straight away. We are encouraging even others to go for skills, technical education. And from there, then I can get a diploma and then get a degree and even master's and whatever level. So I want to say that as government, we have made progress. Right now, we are coming out. The president is leading us to tell the country, please, can we encourage our children, right from the parents, to such that you remember at a time, I mean, at the university, when I joined and a long time ago, we had 9, before even private sponsorship came up, we had 9 halls of residence. And out of the 9 halls of residence, there were only 3 for girls. And that meant that there were very few girls.
Today, girls are outperforming the boys, doing a lot better.
So, but it is because government came up and said, please, can we encourage girls to go to some of us are beneficiaries of the 1.5 as affirmative action. So even
Honorable Rose Namayanja, our time is very fast spent, but hopefully we'll have you here again so we can deliberate a lot more on these issues. Your work is very well cut out for you. We hope you go out there and deliver. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
My opinion is coming up shortly. I'll tell you, I look at many of my friends that have done what we can call the quintessential science subjects in this country, you know, medicine, etc., etc. They feel they're not valued in this country. They're running away to Rwanda, to Kenya, to South Africa, to the UK for better employment opportunities out there. They're not too excited that they're leaving their homeland, but bread and butter issues at the end of the day call the shots. I think we need to value our scientists a lot more. We need to put our money where our mouths are. But having said that, I think we need to throw the artists, you know, on the periphery. I think they are not useless. Artists in this country do a credible job, and we need to encourage our young people. Are you out there? You're doing arts course and some arts course, something of the sort, and you feel, all right, now me, I'm irrelevant in this country. I don't think you are. I don't think you are. Galvanize your energies, do whatever it is that you can, and let's collectively do whatever we can to make Uganda a much better country than it is today. That's the big story for this morning. Thanks a bunch for joining us. Morning at NTV continues shortly. Do stay with us.
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji, and Brian Mulondo.
Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Look at all the juices that are in there, and that is what I'm looking for. My goodness, look at that.
20 entrepreneurs. 20 companies compete to get the funding. From different skills and experience with different ideas. Who will it be? On Kickstart, proudly presented by Now Breweries. Coming soon on NTV.
Guess what show just won Best Entertainment Program?
Log in for the glitz and glamour of Kampala's most flamboyant people and events.
I'm here today for Coco Fingers video shoot.
Big up NTV, thanks for the support.
Log in, ndiwa nole ronzi ze kukakasa.
Your coffee and you're watching Login.
Don't touch that dial, you know what I'm saying.
It's login.
We could do this all night. We could do this all night.
Ekifo ekimu kissa wamusu n'ekyalo ekiweddeko abamanye bakiraza mumwa. Tugenda kutuuka gy'oli oyogere naffe ebikwata ku kyalo kyo, embeera mw'okolera, ebyobufuzi, ebyobulamu n'ensonga endala nnyingi. Ebyogerwa tebiyita. Tuusa eddoboozi lyo, yogera naffe buli lwakuna butereevu ku NTV akawungeezi.
You can bring everybody in parliament as long as they can wake up and vote for the NRM.
As long as the voters exercise their rights to elect their leaders, there was no need for term limits in Uganda.
I know him. I know how he operates. I know how he thinks.
There are ways you can go around these obstacles.
Why should I conduct myself as if I am Muyai?
It's absolutely true. I admired President Museveni.
Is the ICC a fiscal court targeting African leaders?
You cannot tell me that the whole trouble Kenya had revolved about only the two individuals.
The money is not in the budget of this financial year.
You can't beat God. You see, God is polygamous also. Look at Jeremiah chapter 31.
The security of this country will largely depend on the contribution that the people make.
On the next episode, brought to you by...
At Orange, we know you want to do more on the internet. That's why we bring you happy hour day and night.
But I also like rappelling, tree hopping, body jumping, you know?
Just like me. What else do you like, Lucas?
This little gang of yours is amazing. Do you know where they found me?
He was living in the streets, Mom.
Vo might actually really like her. And if that's true, then they can get married after he gets the money back. I just want you to give Mr. Gustavo a chance. For Mom's sake. That's all.
You can download movies at the lowest prices and never fast from Orange. Dial *133# to buy a data bundle. Happy hour changes with Orange. Today changes with Orange.
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji, and Brian Mulondo.
It's 14 after 8. Thank you so much for staying with us. It's Morning at NTV and now at the rooftop of the Kampala Serena Hotel. Have you downloaded NTV Mobi? Well, check it out. Go to Google Play Store and download it, install it on your phone, and you can catch us wherever you are. We're turning 8 years. It's pretty exciting. 18th December is our birthday. So at this point in time, you can start making for us cakes and send them. By the 18th, they should be ready. We will take gifts like that. Those who are giving checks, please write Brian Mlondo, particularly that. But it's really exciting. I was just bragging to some people that I'm probably one of the oldest presenters here. And that's not good. But seeing the transformation here is really, 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 really awesome. And we're celebrating with you. So we're giving you 100 motorcycles, and 8 gift hampers every day. Okay? You can save a little. Speaking of saving, this morning we're going to look at how couples can work their money. And the person with us this morning, interesting. I think he's now Uganda's official relationship guru. Stay with us. Our very own Peter Igaga from Man. Good morning, man.
Morning. Good to see you, Brian. How are you doing?
Good to see you,
Looking
too.
fresh and excited, I can see.
Yeah.
8 years.
That's a long time.
I know, but you've done a great job. And even like yesterday evening at the roundabout, amazing, amazing. Everybody was up on toes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did a great job.
Before we even go to why you're here, how does it feel for you? How long have you been with it?
I've actually done 7 years at NTV, and it has been an amazing run. I was traditionally not known as the kind of person who could stay in one place for a long time, but I've done 7 years at NTV. So
and the show...
yes, then the show came on, past that, because that's also one of the greatest things about NTV. Yeah. You are able to grow. You're dynamic, and as being part of our 8-year celebration, I'm happy to say I'm not only 8, but I've grown. I even have my own show.
You're celeb, man.
Yes!
Peter Igaga this morning is going to help us understand how couples can work finances. And, I was talking to someone, and they were saying that 2 things that break marriages. Yeah. 1, money and sex.
Correct, yes.
Especially money, where couples fail to understand. You're tested 16 years in marriage, which is quite, dude.
Veteran, to say the least. That's the word.
That's
yes,
the word.
Yes, yes.
16 years. What is your experience in this? Where do we get it wrong?
Okay.
Do people fear talking about money?
Well, as it is, it is the greatest challenge in all relationships, money. Either lack of it or too much of it. And I quote a very famous man, Zig Ziglar. He said, he's been with money, has been without. But anytime you'd rather be with it than without. But I'll tell you, the greatest challenge where money is concerned is trust. Money can either build trust or break trust. And the trouble about trust is once it's broken, it's very hard to rebuild it. Now, as men, and I'll start with the side of men, we are very insecure creatures by nature. That's just the way we are. That's why the male species is very territorial. We see it even with lions.
Yeah.
They go urinating to mark their territory. Why? Because they're insecure.
Yeah.
You don't want anybody else in your territory. So you want, by the time another lion comes there and smells your urine, it knows, uh-oh,
there's a guy
there. That's a sign of insecurity. So when it comes to us as men, as human beings, we also have a lot of insecurities.
Yeah.
And we use money to secure ourselves. That's why we find people buy big cars, they wear good clothes and stuff like that, a lot to show. That's why you can find the very secure people, and especially men, don't really mind very much about what they look like when they dress. They don't mind about the cars they drive, because they know they've got their money and they're not worried about it. Right. But then there are those who spend, okay, and more money than they actually make, which is one of the biggest challenges a lot of people have. The moment you start spending more than you're making, you're in trouble. And they keep up appearances. But then you see on the flip side, on the side of the ladies, ladies like men who can show strength, okay? They like men who, in Swahili, it's called kuonyesha kifua. You show your chest. Yes. And nguvu. Yes, nguvu. Yeah. And again, it goes back to the fact that we're animals. Look at a peacock. Look at a male lion, it has a mane. So the male species, by the way, we laugh at some of our musicians wearing the yellow and green jeans and all that. Actually, that is very masculine. It's not feminine. It is. When you look at like peacocks, you look at generally even a lot of birds, it's the male bird, like a weaver bird, which is flashy, which is bright. It's trying to attract attention. So now, where the challenge comes is, first of all, a lot of us, it's a fact, grow up without money.
Yeah.
We reach a certain point, life changes, we get money along the way, and then we now start living our dreams, okay? Now, you have this woman who you've worked with. You've grown up, you've built it up, okay? Now, when you get there, she's the only one who's been seeing you, because I quote a very close relative of mine, okay, it was my brother. Before he went to study in the UK, no girl would want to talk to him. Yes, he really had a problem.
Yeah.
But then the guy goes, puts on a bit of weight, comes back with a few pounds, and the ball game changes. He's literally running away from them. And he was like, okay, I could get used to it. So men lose focus. And now that is the beginning of issues.
Yeah.
So money has to be managed. That's a fact. And you see, it makes more sense when you get into managing money with your partner early. Women.
Do you start when you're dating?
Yes, you start when you're dating. Because I'll tell you what, I always tell people, we say, oh, you know what, I'm dating, I don't know.
I haven't yet found her. Should we start talking about money when I've proposed?
By the time you call her your girlfriend, I think that is the right time to start talking money with her. Because that's when you're testing the waters.
Yeah.
How does she manage money? Is she responsible? Will she steal from you? Because there are women who steal from their spouses. If she can steal from you when she's your girlfriend, then probably she will steal from you when she's your wife. And also vice versa. There are men who steal from women. Sad reality.
That's very sad.
Yes, yes, yes. They literally go into women's handbags and steal. Yes. And because the lady doesn't even know how to bring it up, she'll just keep quiet. Yeah. So, and if he can steal from you when you're still dating, then he's going to steal from you when you're married. So, and then also there's the flip side of when now you get married and then you're in a situation where your woman has more money than you do. Now, again, that goes down to insecurities of the male species. I think, and this is my opinion, and I was told everybody's entitled to one. I think that's not a problem, you know. And I think also men need to move out of that sphere where if you're in a place where your woman is earning more than you, you say, oh, you're going into a restaurant, she gives you the money at home so you can go and pay. No, she's taking you out, she's paying. What's the problem?
Yeah.
I mean, the meal is between the two of you. You know, we are so into public perception. You know, we're always saying, oh, what do people think about us and that kind of thing.
Are we stuck with the perception that the man always must first control money,
yes.
He must always have money? Because there are times when my wife has called me and said, hey, boss, today you're the one ordering. Yes. Order everything, it's on me. But when they bring the bill,
automatically, yes.
They bring it to me. And I'm like, I think she's the one who's paying, yeah. So I shift the bill.
Yes.
Even women too think that men
they expect
must control money, must have money. Yes. So as a guy, let's start with, say, if your woman has more money than you,
yeah.
How do you work that? Because yes, you talked about being territorial, you still want to show that we're in control. How do you work that, first of all?
Well, the greatest thing, actually, that a man can do is show initiative, right? Because, you see, life is, remember this, earlier we talked about life not being fair. Life is not fair. There's some people who have more money than others. That is the reality of life.
Yeah.
But as a man, just show initiative, okay? I think it's very important for a man to take that step, all right? And at least get out there and do something. You may not have a job, but don't stay in bed in the morning and let your wife go to work. Get up and do something, you know. Even if you're going to volunteer and work for free. I've worked for free. I mean, I've been in situations where I've had no work to do, but I literally would wake up every morning and go and work for free. Just say I'm volunteering, you're not paying me, but I'm doing something. And when you're doing that, you're showing your woman that you are trying, okay? Because also, I always say a woman's greatest enemy is her friends. Because you see, if with most men, and the key word here is most, with most men, if your woman, fair enough, is richer than you, okay, you go out for a drink or for coffee with your friends, it's something your friends can laugh about. Say, oh, your woman has more money, and you laugh it off, and that story goes.
Life goes on.
But with women, it's a different story. Now, with women, if a woman is earning more than her husband, she will want to show her friends that her man is
running this.
No, that her man is doing well, that he's in control, that he's something. So some women even go as far as buying cars and giving it to the husband and saying, no, you drive it, so that her friends, so he can come and pick her from work, and her friends, oh, your husband bought a car. So she looks good. Because a lot of women paint pictures of their husbands. But the challenge is now she's going to expect you to become that person. And if you don't have the means, now when in the evening when it's just the two of you, that's where issues start. Now she'll start putting pressure on you, saying, "Why can't you do this? How come
don't you find a job?
Why don't you find a job? Yes,
doing this for you.
For you. Why don't we also move into a bigger house? Why don't we build like so and so?" Because in the meantime, she's told her friends, "Oh, we bought a car. Yes, now we are building," and her friends are saying, "Oh, okay. Well, now let's see," because possibly one of her friends' husbands or boyfriends is doing extremely well. So they try to measure up.
Yeah.
And that is a huge challenge.
Right.
Because now the lies start. And you know, when the trouble about a lie is you have to tell another lie.
To cover it.
To cover it.
You have to make it grow.
Yes.
Someone told me, for example, Peter earns a salary of 1 million shillings. The wife earns a salary of, say, 800,000, or even if it's 2 million. But at the end of the day, you need, is it wise for the couples to bring all their monies in this pool and plan for it? Can it help take away the stress? Because also there are guys who say, my wife, my partner cannot know how much money I earn. Actually, some people have been married for so long and their partners do not know how much they earn. Sure. But the guy provides for everything at home, but he never discloses anything. So is it beneficial to do that? Or as long as you're paying the bills at home, I think we're good.
Well, I'll say two things about that. First of all, it is extremely beneficial to do that. I know a lot of people are saying, what? Is he crazy? It is, and I will tell you why. As a man, it takes a load of stress off you. For as long as you're a woman, but the women are very understanding, contrary to popular belief.
Yeah.
They're extremely understanding. For as long as they have the facts. Sometimes the facts may not be rosy as you'd want them to be, but if I'm earning 300,000 shillings, that is what I'm earning, all right?
Period.
Period, that is it. So if I bring my 300,000 to the table and say, this is it, she brings her 300,000 to the table and says, this is it. With our 600, we plan. I'm managing her expectations, okay? Because she'll know that, all right, I can't come and see a dress of 400,000 and come and ask my husband to do it. But the challenge is, there are a lot of men who provide, and they say, you know what, they ask their wives say, or their girlfriends, say, what is your problem? For as long as everything you have in the house is there, what more do you need? But you're not managing her expectations. You could have like 4 loans which you have taken to try and what do you call it, and provide. You're running 4 jobs at the same time to try and provide.
Yeah.
But then she'll start saying, but then, okay, fine enough, you're providing, but we never see you at home. Why don't you take time to come at home? And you're wondering, you say, but because I'm working, okay. But you see, she doesn't know, all right,
that you have all this
going on, yes. So the truth is, I always say sometimes the truth is not the prettiest, but when you do that, you build trust. And again, it comes down to trust. And a relationship without trust is doomed. Because also another thing is, you know, with women, like I talked about giving them facts. If you don't give women facts, they will assume. And they will assume a lot. If you always say every time she asks you for money, I don't have, because I'm earning my 300,000. She'll talk to her friends. They'll tell her, oh, he has another woman. Because she'll look at you and say, he looks like he's earning around 800. You know what I mean?
But he brings 300.
He brings home, what we're seeing is 300. So where's the other 500 going? All right. So automatically, things, and now that's when issues start in the relationship. So I think it's imperative that just lay your cards on the table. And your woman will respect you, you'll manage her expectations, and then together, 2 heads are better than 1 anytime.
Right. Well, you can join this conversation. We asked you to post your comments on Facebook and this morning at NTV, and read there's some questions here for you, boss.
Yes.
All right. I share my salary with my wife, and okay, this shorthand.
It's a trick.
I think cats should be reading this. And now it's impossible for me to get some money for myself. How do I get out of this?
Well, that's a very interesting question. But and I'll tell you, that is one of the challenges that a lot of people are in. Say, you know, when by the time I put this in, then I bring my money in the kitty, what happens? But it goes down to budgeting. Everybody needs their own money. So that's why you put your money together in a kitty, and then and as part of the budgeting process, you agree. You're going to get X amount, she's going to get X amount, which you would do, because you can't be accounting for every single thing. Say, oh, hi, honey, today I bought chewing gum. Or today, no.
Bring a receipt.
Bring a receipt for it.
Yeah.
So you have your money, she has hers, which she goes and does her things, and you also do yours. So you both agree that X amount is for you and X amount is for her. Right. So that's for your own private thing. But she knows how much you've got. So
that helps a lot. Well, a couple of things. One, try and disclose. I know for guys but we always want to stay in control, because somehow, and Peter, I've always thought, because we are built to be heroes and saviors, like if I don't tell you everything I have and you come to me with a problem, I can just splash out like 500K. Then you tell me, honey, thank you. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. That's me. But actually, join Peter on Men. Tonight? No.
No, it was just
Wednesday.
last night.
Yeah,
Wednesday. But next Wednesday, yes.
Next Wednesday.
Yes.
And they break down some of this stuff. And you can tweet him at Peter Igaga. If you have any more questions about this, we'll be inviting Peter once in a while to come and, you know, help us be better lovers. This is like that. You should do like that at Official Lover Man or something.
I know, I will. That's food for thought.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Brian. It's been great.
And Everyday Life, of course, here on Thursday, we talk about family and relationships and how you can make them better. Join the conversation on Facebook and Twitter, and of course our SMS platform is 6565. Stay with us, because when we come back, we'll be talking sport, especially the Champions League. Stay with us.
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji, and Brian Mulondo.
Together we can.
The official sponsor of the Uganda Cranes football team.
To survive the test of time, buildings need to be strong and able to withstand the forces of nature. Tiantang Group has introduced TTG TMT bars, hollow sections, MS plates, manufactured using top quality raw materials with the latest technology on Ugandan market. TTS bars are strong, weather resistant, 100% weldable, easy to bend at any angle, and are marked TTS, so look for the mark while buying.
Tiantang Group, quality steel, normal price. 20 entrepreneurs. 20 companies compete to get the funding. From different skills and experience with different ideas. Who will it be? On Kickstart, proudly presented by Now Breweries. Coming soon on NTV. Ekifo ekimu era ebyobufuzi, ebyobulamu n'ensonga endala nnyingi. Ebyogerwa tebiyita. Tuusa eddoboozi lyo. Yogera naffe. Buli lwa
You can bring everybody in parliament as long as they can wake up and vote for the NRM.
As long as the voters exercise their rights to elect their leaders, there was no need for term limits in Uganda.
There are ways.
As if I am MUI.
It's absolutely true. I admired the President Museveni.
Is the ICC a fiscal code targeting African leaders?
You cannot tell me that the whole trouble Kenya had revolved about only 2 individuals.
The money is not in the budget of this financial year.
You can't beat God. You see, God is polygamous also. Look at Jeremiah chapter 31.
The security for me.
On the next episode, brought to you by...
At Orange, we know you want to do more on the internet. That's why we bring you happy hour day and night.
On the next episode of...
You want an educated girl for Suraj. What is your sister's qualification? Last time I made a very big mistake.
You can download movies at the lowest prices and never fast from Orange. Dial *133# to buy a data bundle. Happy hour changes with Orange. Today changes with Orange.
On to 9 a.m. and Isma joining me this morning.
Good morning.
So are you planning to declare your partners declaring their finances to, you know, will you be telling how much you earn so that?
I don't think entirely, but I'm not against the idea per se. But I think it's a personal decision. It moves from one person to the other depending on how much secrecy you have in a relationship. Or how much you find finance as the basis or the foundation of your relationship. I've got to say that I would have provided these finances are especially probably a business we do together. I wouldn't want to go home every single and she already busy. It's so those who are supposed to see it, I think there's much to hurt. Probably somewhere. I'm not really.
It's
certain.
not worth it.
It's not worth it. I don't see why I should do it. What's there to hide? How much can you hide?
Well, join Peter Igaga on Men every week. Peter Igaga at morning ad. Is it going to be? Is it temporary?
With Ugandan football to understand whether the ceasefire at this point Ginger and release a down. What has provided some, and now the league will eventually start tomorrow. And of had hearings. Now, of the 16 clubs to television, or neither will they queer, because you could look back and say what is there for some, and I don't want to say clubs here, is that I don't want to be a business analyst. Just get underway tomorrow. Those are things that should be tickling people's mind. But Brian, you've probably heard in the news where Maroons had gone to court because they thought they should be in this league, and then they were thrown out eventually. They decided to go and get the case out of course and settle with FUFA, and then they'll be playing in the lower division in the big league, which I know from Maroons people is that they did this in the interest of helping Ugandan football, because they thought this court process will drag, and then eventually we'll be back to where we were. So actually, I spoke to one of the Maroons officials. He told me that we are going to do this to help Ugandan football. While we are right, but at some point, since the game of football is fair play, well, let's have some fair play, let's get out of court and let clubs play. Now we are at the point where the league is probably 3 weeks late from when it was supposed to start, but eventually it's here. Whether the ceasefire is permanent, only time will tell. I have a sneaky feeling these guys cannot last doing the right thing. That's how football are.
Well, speak about having hope. Eh?
Yeah.
I think yesterday we were talking about Shaka Sali, who always tells us to keep hope alive.
Keep hope alive.
Yes. Well, we'll be following those stories very, very closely, of course, and find out the permanent solution to Uganda's football. But tell us about the fixtures tomorrow. What games are going to be played?
They aren't the kind of games that are Express versus Villa or Express versus Cases or Express or Cases versus Villa. And Cases actually are not even in action. The champions in the last season for Super League. But probably the biggest game is not even between the teams that are famous. It's one that is going to be played at Kachindu Stadium in Jinja tomorrow. Bull Bidiko, who have been in the league, against Sadolin Pace. Now, these are two teams from Jinja who split the funds across the town in half. Sadolin Pace plays at Bugembe and Bull Bidiko plays at Kakindu. Now Bull Bidiko are hosting the first game there tomorrow. Should be an interesting one. Yet Sadolin only come in the league for the first time. Bull Bidiko have been here recently. Express at home to Chirayang at Wankurukuku. I saw last night they've got back Hassan Mubiru to be part of the coaching staff there. At Express, he did retire from the game because he had very bad knees, and his knees couldn't let him play.
He was
for
a
very
good
long
player.
Yeah, he was a very good player. Then there is Police at home to Roy Sharma. Now, when you hear Roy Sharma is supposed to be a team from Bushenyi, but this is a team that has been acquired by Kampala junior team, and they will be playing in Mityana for their home fixtures. And now they have an away fixture to start the season with Police at Kavumba.
Roy Sharma.
Yeah, Roy Sharma. It's an interesting name. But then the other one has got to be Villa. Villa have kept on moving, I think, over the past 25 years. They played in Masaka, they played in Kampala. Now, at this point in time, they'll be hosting their fixtures in Mityana. They host Sowana in their first game of the season under the management of Ben Misaga, who recently won an election to become the Villa president. But those are some of the fixtures to look out for. Probably for me, like I've said again and again, the biggest of them has got to be in Jinja, in Saddle, in First Bidiko. I know what this means to abasoga banange bonabona baidabanga bendaino okubona guno mpira.
Will you be there?
I'll see. I'll see. I'm trying to make plans to be
at Kakindu.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to netball. Yesterday we talked about well, it looks like they are going to be at the World Cup.
Yeah.
But does beating Botswana mean they are going to make it?
If you look at the back page of the Daily Monitor, which you have here on our table, is She Cranes one victory away from the World Cup because they beat up on Botswana yesterday, the hosts 47-32. And actually, they do play Swaziland later today at around 12:45 p.m. And then thereafter, they'll play Namibia tomorrow. But I think the general feeling, and I was following out some of the press reports, Botswana newspaper and the Zambian ones, everyone feels they have been watching the best team, and that is Uganda at these World Cup qualifiers that are going on in Gaborone. I've got to say that at this point in time, it only take, what kind of collapse would stop his Proskovian company with the coach Fred Mugara from going to Sydney next year? I don't see it. They need only one result, either against Swaziland or against Namibia. And that tournament ends tomorrow, and 2 teams will qualify for the World Cup, and Uganda is not part of them. Come on, Uganda will be at the World Cup. I can speak with at most prophetic certainty that this netball team will qualify for the World Cup. Despite everything that goes on around them, they will be at the World Cup.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about the rugby team. How are they preparing for the Kenya Safari Sevens?
This tournament does get underway next week, and it's a tournament that where Kenya and Uganda, the teams that take part year on year, but there are always teams from England, from New Zealand, from Japan, from Scotland, from across the world. It's a very good tournament, I think, for the Rugby Crane Sevens to go there and do something and probably compete and advertise the game in terms of Uganda. And actually, at this point in time, Kenya is pushing to be included on the IRB World Series. So it's a very good opportunity, I think, for the team. And they are preparing quite well, even if I don't think they have Tobert Onyango lately, ever since they left Glasgow. But one of the things they've done, they've kept the core of the side that went to Glasgow for the Commonwealth Games. The same players we saw, Emmanuel Ochodo, who scored that brilliant try against Australia at the Commonwealth Games, Michael Korach, Alfred Bijik, Philip Wokorach, the core of that side. So they are not changing much in terms of who went to Glasgow and who didn't. And that should be very helpful for the team, because one of the things I've noticed with Sevens Rugby in recent years is that for every other tournament, the players are different.
Yeah.
Now, at this point in time, Uganda Rugby Union has decided to keep the same players, and I hope that this will be a representation that will help the team do well the moment they get to Kenya at the Kasarani Stadium next weekend. Normally, Uganda doesn't do well here, but I think having the same team for the entire year should be a good thing for the coach and the players.
Right. Well, Champions League was on last night, and some great games there. Tell us about Bayern and Man City. What did you think about it? Was it cruel for Bayern to take the 3 points? Did they deserve it?
They deserve a lot more than the 3 points. If football games would probably offered more than 3 points, Bayern would take more than those 3. They totally outplayed Manchester City. Actually, at points during that game, I thought if this was a boxing match, it's a point where your coach throws in the towel. Because you're being pounded, but you're not getting to the floor. The coach should have thrown in the towel at this point in time. This was a boxing match. Eventually, Man City only conceded after the 90 minutes, because this was deep into injury time by Jerome Boateng, former Manchester City defender, got the goal. And moments earlier, Aguero had just missed a glorious chance after turning Dante inside out, and then had his chance miss the target. But I think over the 90 minutes, Bayern were by far the better side. I thought Joe Hart probably hit his canvas more often than he has ever in a football game. He was always on the grass trying to grasp something because there were so many chances that Bayern created. Mario Götze, Thomas Muller, and Robert Lewandowski probably should have put Bayern 3-0 up in the first half. Eventually, didn't do that. But Bayern, for me, deserved the 3 points. Man City, I've got to say, this final thing I have to say about Man City. I think they suffer from an inferiority complex in Europe.
Really?
When I was watching them yesterday, and actually my memory went back to Manchester United last year, who were not playing well. But Manchester United pounded Bayern at the Allianz Arena in the first 20 or 30 minutes under David Moyes, who no one wants to remember as a United coach. But now, Manchester City, for all the quality they have and the dominance they brought to the English Premiership, they suffer from an inferiority complex. They look like they were stunned. But these are players at the same level. Now, at what point do you give Bayern all that respect? Exactly. At what point do they give Bayern all that respect? You've got to go there.
Well,
and
Bayern
compete.
is the best in the business, Ismail. You have to respect them.
You've got to respect them, but you can't go there and sit there in awe and wait to see what Bayern are going to do. I thought Man City should have competed better. I would say Bayern would beat them. There is nothing wrong with that. But to go there and not compete is completely stupid for Man City.
Wow. Well, one of our producers here supports Man United, and he's saying very kuchikop. Well, yesterday we thought Chelsea would totally annihilate Schalke, but a point, did they deserve it?
They deserve the point, I thought, Schalke. They really competed, even if they had to leave their luck at some point when Loic Remy had a chance cleared off the line and actually had gone down a goal early. And actually, in an away game, when Ches Fabregas scored that goal, many teams will fall, but I don't think Schalke folded. And actually, right at the end, they could have stolen the tie because Julian Draxler had a chance to bury Chelsea. at Stamford Bridge. Eventually didn't take his chance, but I've got to say I thought Schalke deserved a point. Probably Mourinho will be looking at some of the changes didn't work out. Didier Drogba started his first game for Chelsea. He's 36. I don't think even signing him was right. It was an emotional decision, not entirely about whether he'll help the team. Not having Diego Costa on the pitch, you thought Chelsea have learned to play through Diego Costa because they'd had to rest him. Mourinho thinking that he can't play every other week, which is very understandable. And then bring in players like Ramirez, who was probably at sea in the game. But Schalke, a point well deserved, well earned, I thought. Yeah.
And Barcelona scoring one. Where is the goal machine?
Where is the tiki-taka?
Yes.
Luckily for them, they've not conceded a goal yet this season in the league and now in the Champions League. But I think when Luis Enrique opted to go and change the side, actually, they dropped almost nine players from the teams that started over the weekend. Daniel Alves these days comes off the bench. He did start the game yesterday. Gerard Piqué, who has been on the bench for the entire season, did score the goal set up by Lionel Messi, but a very changed Barcelona side. But even if they were changed, you have players like Xavi in that side. They should be more competitive than that. Xavi, who has also been on the bench because Ivan Rakitic has taken his place. There wasn't Iniesta in the game. Also did come on for Xavi late in the game. And then at least they had Neymar and Messi right up there. So probably they should have scored more than one. But I think in the Champions League, what's important is to get the 3 points. And Luis Enrique will look back at that Piqué goal and say, we got the 3 points, we can move on.
That's
from
all.
Yeah.
Roma thrashed CSK 5.
Yeah.
Which you expected, you predicted that, you know, they would probably use this game to
CSK
bring
to the sword, yeah.
And they did. Should we be scared that they are...
Javinho is talking a lot. He did score twice and set up two.
Oh, Javinho,
yeah.
please.
And I know Brian's
Who is
opinion about Javinho.
It's like, just go on.
I remember Brian saying here that Javinho did nothing for Arsenal and doing everything for Roma. He did score twice yesterday and set up 2 goals. And for Roma and for Italian football, this is a very welcome result because they are at the point in time where they need Roma to do well in order for Italy to gain that coefficient, to get probably more places in the Champions League. And I thought they were brilliant. They scored 4 goals inside 30 minutes to start the game. And for me, the writing was on the wall.
Italian sides don't do that.
They don't do that.
Yeah.
4 goals in 30 minutes, that was quite
Brilliant.
a blinder from Rudy Garcia's side.
Maybe we should be worried.
And actually, they were saying something that they're not scared of anyone because they're in the same group with Bayern, Man City, and of course CSK. That means that one of the big guns could get knocked out. Now, for Roma to win on a night when Man City lost, that means that probably when Roma go to the Etihad Stadium in the next round of fixtures, they'll know if we pick a point or beat Man City in one of the fixtures, we are through. Because it's going to come down probably to Man City against Roma for the spot to join Bayern in the next round. So probably this is why, for me, these 3 points were very important for Rudy Garcia's side.
Awesome, man. Well, look out for European League tonight, and Isma will be telling us about the results tomorrow morning. But Dnipro is playing Inter Milan, Sevilla against Feyenoord, Everton against Wolfsburg. That should be something very interesting.
Very good fixture.
Napoli and will be playing Sparta Prague. And all games are 10 o'clock, except for Inter Milan and Dnipro at 8 p.m. And of course, follow Isma later today on Omumuli at 1:30 with the entire crew. And every Monday, Sports Bar comes to you live from Club Silk. Check out your African proverbs. What has a horn must not be hid in a sack.
Because it will definitely pierce the sack. But what do these drug traffickers do, or the traffickers of animal tusks like ivory?
I think they have cases.
They have cases, you're right, because I've seen a bit. They package them, because I think you destroy the sack. Not one, you destroy the sack, but it's easy to, if you're taking something, it's easy for someone to see it. Yeah, so probably it's better to hide. Where do you put this? You need a case?
But also, maybe I'm thinking if you have an issue, maybe, I guess...
Marital? Is it a marital issue?
No, whatever issue. Bring it out maybe in a subtle way, because if you try and bottle it up, it's either going to, explode and you're going to cause more harm to other people.
Like the proverb says, that this horn is not intentionally getting out the sack, but because just to find room, it will pierce.
To just get out
through,
at the time when
so you need to hold on to your things somehow. That's why we need all this secrecy, like you're saying about finances.
I'm not going to promote secrecy on this show. That's a I had to do, what do they call it?
You have to do as I say, don't do as I do.
Yeah, but if you choose to that's you'll sort out that with your partner and God. But it's been phenomenal hanging out with you. Get NTV Mobi. This thing is just too awesome. Well, there's about a 10-second delay, but that's because of Wi-Fi and Gonya and bundles. Please go and download the app, install it on your phone, and join us as we celebrate 8 years. At 6 p.m., look out for the first winner as we give out 100 motorcycles in 100 days, and of course 8 gift hampers every day. Masuzemtia is also coming soon. You are going to be blown away, I'm telling you. Face of Television coming very soon. And Patrick Mukasa, Kato, Mlongo Kato, and the entire crew making sure that everything will be ready in time. Watch out for that. For any information, go to our Facebook page, Twitter, SMS platform is available, 6565. Bye-bye.
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji, and Brian Mulondo.
NTV, turning on your world.
Use White Star Laundry Bar Soap with a lemon fragrance and you'll have a fresh, clean day. Be like a star. Use White Star.
Don't disturb Daddy. My daddy is a star.
White Star Laundry Bar Soap. All day fresh clean.
We transact every day, and for centuries, currencies have changed hands. Business is a must, and that is why Money Matters makes it a must to talk business.
It's the biggest market out in Uganda because of East African connections and business.
From farming to business trading, we give you all the angles.
When you're harvesting, that one is the most important part, which you really have to be there.
We'll bring you all the details that doing business has to offer.
Thoughts of the business leaders in the market.
The airline industry doesn't operate like any other industry, where you go in and buy a shirt and this shirt is 20 shillings today, it will be 20 shillings tomorrow.